All right, folks, today we're diving into one of the most intriguing conversations in football right now. Potential player trades post-draft as teams gear up for training camps and the much anticipated preseason grind. But this isn't about throwing random names around for clicks. We're focusing on players who actually carry weight in the trade market. Forget the obvious superstars who are untouchable and ignore the fringe guys nobody's picking up a phone for. We're going to get real about the ones who might genuinely be on the move. The ones whose futures are in that gray area where the right offer could change everything. And to kick things off, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the star edge rusher. Now, I know there's a segment of the fan base loudly calling for his departure. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you think the team should cash in while his value's high or simply move on to get younger and cheaper at the position. I get it, but here's the truth. I don't see that happening. Not right now. And it's not just my gut feeling. There's no real signal from any of the involved parties that a split is coming. The player wants to stay. His agent isn't pushing for an exit. The team, from top to bottom, seems fully committed to keeping him around. That said, this doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows. There's still the contract situation, which always brings complications. Negotiations in the NFL are rarely straightforward. Timelines get messy. What fans expect to be done in days or weeks often drags into months. Deadlines get pushed. Leverage games are played. It's just the nature of the business. So while a trade feels unlikely, we can't ignore that contract talks might not go as smoothly as people hope. Tensions can rise. Delays can happen. But overall, both sides want to make this work, and that mutual desire is often the key factor in these situations. Now, for those wondering, yes, there's been some buzz about interactive fan polls, where people get to predict or decide what should happen with this player, whether he stays, whether he gets traded, when a potential move could happen. But honestly, that's more of a fun side activity. The real decisions are happening behind closed doors, in meetings between agents, front office execs, and coaching staffs. Let's pivot now to players who are much more realistic trade candidates. Specifically, another edge rusher who's been in the spotlight for different reasons. This situation is layered, so don't be fooled by surface level takes. His recent performance hasn't lived up to expectations. What was supposed to be a breakout year turned into a disappointing campaign. The front office clearly noticed because they've been busy adding depth at his position. They signed a veteran to a one-year deal. They spent back-to-back draft picks on young pass rushers, and that's on top of investments from previous seasons. You can feel the pressure building around this player. From a contract perspective, things get even more interesting. His cap hit is manageable. Trading him wouldn't wreck the books for his current team. In fact, the cap savings from moving him could be seen as a smart business move. For any team acquiring him, the financial hit would be even smaller. That's crucial because teams are always looking for cost-effective talent. The problem is he's coming off an injury. There's optimism he'll be ready for camp, but until he proves he's healthy and effective again, his market value remains a question mark. If he shows out in training camp and flashes during the preseason, suddenly his name becomes a hot topic. A mid-round draft pick on day 3 could be enough to get a deal done. So here's the dilemma. Do you trade him while his stock potentially rebounds, or do you keep him for depth and hope he returns to form? That's the kind of debate front offices are having right now. Moving on to another name that sparked some curiosity. This time, a wide receiver who's been in the system for a few years. His trajectory is peculiar. Every season he's shown incremental improvement, but let's be honest, the bar was set pretty low to begin with. Now there's a question of whether he can break through a certain statistical threshold. His current trade value isn't exactly sky high. Some fan-made memes have summed up the situation perfectly. People weren't exactly thrilled at the idea of him being the second option in the receiving core. It's not an ideal scenario. His skill set probably fits better as a third receiver where he's not expected to shoulder too much of the load. Complicating things further, there's a crowded competition for those depth receiver spots. You've got Turpin, Mingo, Fenoy, Brooks, all battling for relevance. And given the limitations of the roster, it's unlikely they can keep everyone unless injuries force their hand. The salary cap situation doesn't make life easier either. The team's current cap space is tight, sitting at around $3.6 million. One of their other receivers recently got a deal worth $10 million, but the structure of that contract keeps the actual hit relatively low for now. If a trade happens, the acquiring team would only take on a smaller chunk of that figure, making it a more palatable option. But here's where things get tricky. Injuries are always lurking around the corner in the NFL. You might feel safe trading away a depth piece, but one unfortunate hit in camp could blow up those plans. That's why some argue it's better to hold on to players like Tobert for more year, maybe even squeeze out a compensatory pick if he walks in free agency. The only scenario where moving him makes sense is if someone like a Mingo explodes during camp and forces the team's hand. Otherwise, stability might be the smarter play. Speaking of depth and competition, linebacker Dion Clark is another name. Worth mentioning. His situation is precarious. After logging significant snaps last season due to injuries elsewhere, his future with the team is cloudy. Despite his experience, his instincts haven't developed as hoped. That's a concern, especially as the team has brought in fresh faces to compete. They've re-signed veterans, added new talent through free agency and the draft, and the depth chart is getting crowded. Realistically, Clark finds himself behind at least 4 players in the pecking order. His salary complicates matters further. Compared to younger, cheaper options, his cap hit is significant. Could there be a scenario where the team approaches him for a pay cut to stick around as a depth piece? Possibly. It wouldn't be the first time a veteran has been asked to restructure. But if he refuses, his spot on the roster is far from secure. The harsh reality is that teams prioritize flexibility and cost efficiency. Unless he shows a marked improvement in camp, he could be on the outside looking in. Shifting focus, let's touch on the safety position. 2 players stand out in this conversation, both solid contributors but carrying hefty contracts. One of them, when healthy, is a game changer. His presence elevates the entire defense, but inconsistency has been a lingering issue. Last season, he struggled in key matchups, exposing weaknesses that can't be ignored. The other safety, while less volatile, hasn't made the splash plays you want from a difference maker. Good? Yes? Great? Not quite. This creates a dilemma. The team needs impact plays, not just solid but unspectacular performances. Financially, there are considerations too. One of these safeties is set to count over $8.6 million against the cap. That's a steep price for a player who's not delivering elite-level production consistently. Another option on the roster comes in cheaper, around $7 million. The economics of the situation suggest that changes could be on the horizon. Yet unless a team is willing to absorb those numbers or the players agree to restructure deals, they'll likely remain for at least one more season. Now, let's circle back to the tight end group. This position has been a point of concern. Blake Hooker has been steady but hasn't delivered the explosive plays the team needs. Adam Lee Cooker is another dependable option, but he's not moving the needle. Depth is a problem here. Maris, Bell and Juan Thomas are fighting for roster spots, while younger players like Elijah Clark, Zion Sheldress, and Mike Smith struggle to establish themselves as reliable contributors. It's a precarious situation. The coaching staff faces a tough choice. Accept a thin depth chart or gamble on unproven talent stepping up. Again, money factors into the equation. Donovan Wilson's cap hit sits at a hefty $8.65 million, while newer additions hover around $7 million. Blake Hooker's contract is more affordable at $7.7 million. The numbers matter, especially for a team trying to stay under the cap while maintaining competitiveness. Unless someone steps up dramatically in camp, these tight ends are likely safe for now, but the long-term outlook is far less certain. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a stunning development that has sent shockwaves through the NFL world, Tyreek Hill has officially confirmed his move to the Dallas Cowboys. The electrifying wide receiver, known for his blistering speed and game-changing plays, made the announcement earlier today, instantly igniting a wave of excitement among Cowboys fans across the nation. Hill, a Super Bowl champion and perennial Pro Bowl selection, leaves behind an illustrious stint with the Miami Dolphins to join one of the league's most storied franchises. His decision to wear the iconic star on his helmet signals a bold new chapter in both his career and the Cowboys' ambitions. For a team already boasting a high-powered offense led by quarterback Dak Prescott, Hill's arrival could be the missing piece in their pursuit of a Super Bowl return. Cowboy supporters wasted no time celebrating the blockbuster news. Social media platforms were flooded with reactions, videos, and fan-made tributes, while local bars and merchandise stores saw a spike in activity. It's like Christmas came early, said one lifelong fan outside AT&T Stadium. Tyreek is exactly what this team needs to take us to the next level. Known as CHEETAH for his lightning-fast sprints and elusive style, Hill brings an edge to the Cowboys' offense that few teams can match. His presence is expected to open up new possibilities for head coach Mike McCarthy, who now has one of the most dangerous offensive arsenals in the league. The NFL landscape may have just shifted dramatically as rivals scramble to adjust Cowboys. Fans are already dreaming big. With Tyreek Hill now in Dallas, the expectations have skyrocketed, and for the first time in years, the Lombardi Trophy feels within reach. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.